It's the Morning Cryptos, and today we're going to look a little bit at the Philly Fed chief. Bitcoin has little chance of thwarting monetary policy. I'm glad they think that. And I got a package. I'm going to open it on camera, and we're going to see what's inside. But first, let's look at the charts, see what's going on. Or maybe I'll talk about Philadelphia and Philly cheesesteak sandwiches and how I like to be fed in Philadelphia. I don't know, but look, we'll give it a shot here. All right, so Philly Fed chief, Bitcoin has little chance of thwarting monetary policy. What does that mean? There's a lot of big words. He says Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies are unlikely to weaken the Federal Reserve's influence on the U.S. economy. Yeah, we'll see what happens when the dollar totally and completely crashes at some point. And notice, on stage, he went so far as to contend that Bitcoin has yet to be tested by a real catastrophe, but that when one happens, people will be more likely to flock to government-backed money, except if the catastrophe is all about the government-backed money. That's the real key. But here's the key, okay? This is why this is the hypnosis of money, people. The paper that's in your pocket that we call money only has value because we believe it has value, because we believe the government stands behind it. It's all trust issues. And here's the problem. I don't trust the government anymore, particularly when we have an idiot president who can't even deal with actually governing, and who's all about being famous and getting his name everywhere on top of big buildings. So we have someone who's the president who has no clue really about any of this, and he can barely get through his day without screwing things up. I think we're going to have a trust issue. I think we have a trust issue with the government. Trust the government. Trust the government? Yeah. Anyway, I don't want to talk about this anymore. I attempted to bring some relevance into this, but this is why I don't look at the news very often, because it's just annoying. And it's usually the same bullshit, and it doesn't change anything. However, this is what I like looking at. I like looking at actual people deciding whether something is valuable or not, deciding that they're putting their faith in something that isn't spoon-fed by a government, that isn't coming from on high by the people that control the fucking world. I like that. And whether this becomes our daily money or not, I don't know. We don't know yet. That's why I'm here. But if you look, we'll start with quantum, because that's what I'm into right now. Because October 4th, we're going to start swapping out these Ethereum tokens for actual quantum coins. And again, buy low, sell high, people. We have a nice little trading range. We have some tops here. Let's make it bigger. And this is actually a reverse wedge. This is interesting. Look at this. If we start here, like that, this is the first time I've noticed this pattern enough to draw lines. So what does that mean? People, I think this stuff is about to pop. That's what I think it means. I could be wrong, but I'm curious to pay attention and see what happens. And I like the fact that this is not a news thing, right? I like being a technical trader. Okay, now I just drew those lines, and This is what's going on within those lines. Okay, let me make this smaller. Right, so I drew the lines and my lines ignored the whiskers, but here the whiskers are real, right? So you can actually, on the 1 hour chart, see a different picture. So I like changing the picture and putting a different frame around things, and that's actually hypnosis. How you frame something makes a difference, right? So interesting. Okay, so let's look at the others. Let's go to Bitcoin Cash real quick. Still kind of consolidating, doing that kind of. We got higher bottoms, but we also have lower tops. This is interesting. We'll see. I think it's going to pop. I think a lot of the cryptocurrencies, as I've said the other day, are like kind of pulling in, ready for the next push out. But that's, the whole thing. In and out, in and out, in and out. It's the way it's supposed to be. It's called a free market. And people's opinions continually change. And let's get to the 1 day on Bitcoin. This is now Bitcoin. 1 day. Bitcoin's coming back up. I think it's going to make a run for 5,000, and then I think it's going to come back, right? I could be wrong. But so far, it has moved and then retraced, and moved and then retraced. And it has come back significantly. There's a 5,000 to basically all the way down to 3,000. So there's a $2,000 fluctuation zone at any given time, and I think that's cool. I think that's healthy. And Bitcoin, they're talking about another hard fork. They're talking about another version of Bitcoin being spun out. How many of those can we sustain? I don't know. But yeah, that's not a threat to the US dollar at the moment until something that's so solid and good and independent and decentralized manages to break through and become the money that everybody uses every day. And we are not there yet. So that's good. You're early. You're in on time. And my just concern with Bitcoin, as I go to the 1 hour chart, my concern is that it has a long way to fall. If you bought in today and then it literally became a shit coin, you have a lot to lose. And to me, then you add to the fact that if you actually buy Bitcoin or transfer in or out of Bitcoin, it's going to take forever and there's going to be a high cost. Whatever. Do what you want to do, Bitcoin. I'll keep watching. And let's go to Dash. Let's get on the 1 day chart. I should get some special music. We are now looking at Dash. And Dash, I think that's a bullish flag. I think Dash is definitely going for 400. And I think it's going to consolidate around 400, which means it'll go higher than 400 and then come back. So I think any good news could really pump Dash up. But it's looking like it wants to make a move. That's just my humble and uneducated opinion. Let's look at the 1 hour charts. See what they're doing on the 1 hour charts. Yeah, there's moves, there's profit taking, and there's a significant sideways trading range. Look at all these tops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You could count 5, maybe add this as 6, maybe this is 7, this is 8. 8 significant tops, and the bottoms have all except this last profit taking have been higher. And then we have some profits being taken. But then it gets right back in and it rises up again. So Dash is looking good, people. Again, long term, Bitcoin traded at $400 for a long time. And, Dash has only been around since Let's go to the one-day chart. That would be easier, wouldn't it? Dash has only been around since March. Okay, people? Since March. At least on this chart. Maybe it's been around longer. But look at that. That's Dash. Let's see if I can get it a little bit bigger. Let's go back to the beginning of Dash, at least on this chart. Again, I haven't done a whole ton of research on this, people. I'm just doing this on the fly here. But Dash, the first day of trading, at least on the Bittrex chart, was March 3rd of 2017. Right? And look at how it's done. You know, it traded in the $130 range for a while, but it has been moving up. You know, these currencies are increasing in value. Why? Because they're useful. Because people are becoming used to them, right? That's the repetition factor. That's the hypnosis factor. We become used to things and familiar, and then we incorporate that into our worldview, and we begin to trust it and believe in it. That's the process. And the thing is, if the Federal Reserve keeps failing to actually be a solution to the multiple trillion-dollar debt that the United States government is in, and that the average person is being stuck with. I mean, every person today has, I think, owes something like $300,000 in deficit. You know, like, hello? And the dollars are gradually becoming worth less, but it happens gradually. So we don't notice that we're being the frog cooked in a pot of boiling water. Anyway. All right, so that's Dash. Did we look? I think we looked at the 1 hour on Dash, didn't we? Yes, we did. I think we did. Ethereum. And again, I'm really bullish on Ethereum, and I'm actually going to start figuring out how to do proof of stake. And when Ethereum switches to proof of stake, you better believe I'm gonna be proof of staking. I'm gonna be staking Ethereum, and I think it's underpriced right now. Let's go to the one-day chart. Right, it's like right in this middle spot, and it wants to pop. I know it wants to pop. I just know it. I know it in my bones, and they keep improving it. Unlike Bitcoin, which just gets worse and worse, Ethereum is actually improving. It's actually adapting, and they're working on scaling it, and there may be a hard fork with Ethereum too. And like, how many of these currencies do we need if they all keep hard forking? That's a problem. I don't know, or it could be a solution. You know, and we'll see what happens. But right now, I'm not buying Bitcoin because it takes too long to deal with it, and I'm buying Ethereum instead. And Litecoin instead to swap and exchange. So yeah, Ethereum. I wouldn't buy any right now because it feels like you're kind of chasing, and I think there's going to be some more retracements, and hopefully there'll be some bad news, and you can pick some up down here. I did pick some up kind of in this range. You know, I got some over here, I think. And yesterday I did get a little, and then I swapped it. But, yeah, Ethereum. Okay. And we're going straight to Litecoin. Litecoin seems to be consolidating a little higher level. I like that. That's really good. And again, that's the 1 hours. I got to go back to the 1 days. Yeah, so it's not going up really fast, but again, look at the bottoms. Look at the bottoms. The bottoms are higher. And we do have this big boost, so we know it can go that high. We know it can go that high. But in the meantime, it's working its way up. And that's stable. That's less volatile than all the other currencies. And it has been holding its value quite nicely. You know, it didn't like drop I mean, it had this little crazy thing down to 31. But that was like one very tiny little window of time. In the meantime, there has been support all along this whole between 35 and 45. There's some significant support. I'm liking Litecoin. And eventually one of these is going to catch on. And here is Monero. Look at the 1 hour chart with Monero. I think this is a little consolidation here. We got a double top, higher bottoms. You could call this some kind of a bullish flag. I think a lot of these are poised to pop. They'll come back, they'll retrace, they'll consolidate, but I think we're going to see some popping maybe next week. I don't know. Could be wrong. Could go up, could go sideways, or it could go down. And that's it. It's all I'm going to do. And I want to open this box. Wait, first I've got to get another hit of Java. All right. So we're going to open this. I love Amazon.com. Who's going to be the Amazon.com of the cryptos? And why is Amazon.com so good? Not because they're nice, but because they get shit to you when they say they're going to get shit to you. And it's nice. I have my Amazon Prime membership. I get to watch movies, and I get free shipping on stuff. A lot of stuff. Oh, look what I got. I got the Raspberry Pi starter kit. The Raspberry Pi. I have no idea what all this shit is. The Model B, Raspberry Pi, Universal Power Supply. Element 14, pre-installed with Noobs. Whatever Noobs is. Like, this is like, I don't know any about this. But Monday, I'm hoping to get this set up. And I have a friend who's going to walk himself through it, and then he's going to make a tutorial for me and possibly for you guys, which I will share if you're nice to me. So if you liked what I do, if you like what I do, and you appreciate the fact that I'm not a technical genius, but that I have some insights into the human mind and the early adoption of cryptocurrencies and the revolution that is actually sweeping the world. And of course, the guy who works for the Federal Reserve is going to say, no, we're not bothered by these little coins like Bitcoin. We're not bothered by Bitcoin. It's not gonna bother us. We're the real deal. Of course he's gonna say that. So just be aware that when you read the news, there is a hypnotic bias that is constantly being shoveled out into the media sphere. And that's the one thing I do agree with Donald Trump. A lot of news is fake news because if it bleeds, it leads. And if it provokes anxiety, it definitely is the headline to go with. And the world is actually not as horrible a place as the news makes it seem. So on that note, people, I really appreciate you very, very much. If you like what I do, please subscribe. If you like this or any of the other videos, I really appreciate your thumbs up because that helps YouTube know that I'm actually doing something here. I'm actually making good content. And if you leave a comment, I do my absolute best to respond to you promptly, and I really appreciate those comments. And share this with a friend. I am in the middle. This is more than the middle. It's day 62 of my 90-day challenge to explore, to go deep into the rabbit hole of cryptocurrencies and to watch the revolution happening in real time. And I hope you'll join me for the next one. I will not be here tomorrow because it's going to be Sunday tomorrow, but I will be back on Monday, and I'm going to learn how to set up this Raspberry Pi. I'm going to move my Quantum from my Exodus wallet over to Bittrex so that I can get the actual coin when they do the coin token swap. And I think that's it. I hope you have a great weekend. I'm going to go do some other stuff, and I'm going to work on stuff. I got a lot of wood to move in my yard, and no, I don't have people to do that for me. And that's it. I'm going to make some music tomorrow. Got 2 gigs. And if you're local to Albany, New York, you might want to check out some of the stuff I'm doing with sound healing hypnosis. Or if you're not local, just check through my channel. I've got a ton of music up here as well as these morning cryptos. So that's it for now. Someone start the music. Boom. Thanks so much.